Breaking news today. There has been an uptick in the Russian FSB'sabotaging Putin's directives. An independent Russian news outlet reports that cases of sabotage by Russian Federal Security Service (FSB) employees who want to leave the agency are on the rise. Former FSB employees have been acting out in the hopes of being fired since Putin last year banned people from resigning from the agency while his partial mobilization decree remains in effect, according to an investigation by the Russian publication Important Stories. In September 2022, months into his massive invasion of Ukraine, the Russian president declared a partial mobilization of the population. On September 21 of last year, Sergei Shoigu, Russia's Minister of Defense, announced that the country would be actively recruiting 300,000 reservists and former military personnel with certain military specialties and relevant experience. It has been announced by the Kremlin that a decree ending the partial mobilization will not be issued. The former employee told Important Stories that disgruntled FSB workers are increasingly defying management orders and engaging in acts of sabotage. Some employees have been quoted as saying, "If you don't like the way we work, fire us," in response to management's arrival. The source only agreed to speak to the media outlet under strict anonymity. However, the publication reported that a current employee of the FSB's central office confirmed the source's claims. Although Newsweek has not been able to independently verify the claims, they are consistent with previous reporting on widespread discontent within the FSB. Anger and discontentment within the agency over the war in Ukraine were revealed in a series of leaked emails published by Newsweek last year, purportedly from an FSB whistleblower and sent to Russian dissident exile Vladimir Osechkin. According to Important Stories, the FSB's leadership has been forced into a corner, and as a result, complex tasks have been delegated to individuals who lack the necessary expertise. Putin sees the departures of high-ranking officials as betrayals, according to sources quoted in the publication. Self-exiled Russian tycoon Mikhail Khodorkovsky claimed in July to Newsweek that less than a third of the FSB would be willing to back Putin should a mutiny occur in the future. Former Russian billionaire Mikhail Khodorkovsky, who has spoken out against Vladimir Putin, claims that disillusioned FSB agents frequently contact him with information. He described the loyalty of the president's staff as rather low. Khodorkovsky said, "I think if there were a different mutiny tomorrow, and FSB officers were called on to protect Putin from that mutiny, I reckon maybe only 30% would be ready to do that," alluding to the late Wagner Group chief Yevgeny Prigozhin's advance on Moscow on June 24 with an announcement of a «march of justice» against the country's military leadership. An interview with Gleb Karakolov, a defector from the Federal Guard Service and a former protection officer for Putin, was published in April on Khodorkovsky's investigative website Dossier Center, which tracks alleged criminal activity by various people associated with the Kremlin. One defector granted us an interview. He or she was a close associate of Putin's. He was Putin's main source of communications. He constantly had a phone line attached to him and followed Putin around. According to what Khodorkovsky said, Putin's staff has a low level of loyalty.